Back on September 21st of last year, Alex pleaded guilty to 22 counts in his federal indictment. Alex agreed to fully cooperate, to waive his rights to contest his conviction and sentence in an appeal or post-conviction action, and to not contest a forfeiture money judgment of a minimum of $9 million. All he had to do was cooperate and comply with all of the conditions of the plea agreement, which we'll get to in a minute. The government agreed to recommend that the court impose a sentence to be served concurrent to any state sentence imposed for the same conduct. Today, 2 motions were filed in federal court just days before Alex was scheduled to be sentenced, stating that Alex had failed his polygraph and that the federal government wishes to declare the agreement null and void based on this deception. Let's get started. This is Legal Updates with Cassidy. Alex fails his polygraph, the tale of the $6 million man. Welcome. The motion begins by telling the court that Alex failed his polygraph, and they provide exhibits which are sealed at this time, and therefore he breached his agreement. In this agreement, he was told he must be fully truthful and forthright with federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies by providing full, complete, and truthful information about all criminal activities about which he had knowledge. And the agreement clearly stated that he would have to submit to polygraph examinations. We actually covered this at the time. Alex's failure to be fully truthful and forthright at any stage will, at the sole election of the government, cause the obligations of the government within this agreement to become null and void. Well, guess what? Alex was administered those polygraphs and asked about $6 million that are unaccounted for. Did you catch that? We've been saying all along that there is money missing. Millions of dollars missing. Well, forensic accountants have been all through his financials, seeing where it came in and where it went out. But $6 million of it is still unaccounted for. And he failed when answering questions about where these funds are. It goes on to tell us what happens if the agreement becomes null and void. And that is that it would argue for a maximum sentence for the offenses to which he's pleaded guilty. He also would not have the right to withdraw his guilty plea. Also in this motion, we learn that Alex was interviewed 4 times between May and October about his crimes, the co-conspirators, and where the $6 million of unaccounted funds are. They mention that they gave him 2 separate chances to speak on the 2 topics that he failed, and they are the involvement of another attorney and these hidden assets. He failed on both occasions. The interesting point is that these are the only 2 topics mentioned that he failed. Although polygraphs are not an exact science, it is more compelling that they only registered falsehood on 2 topics, and that he did so on 2 separate occasions. As we see, it was issues related to hidden assets and the involvement of another attorney in Murdaugh's criminal conduct, and that an FBI polygraph examiner administered a polygraph examination in 2 separate series on 2 topics of interest. The examiner determined that there was deception indicated on both series, meaning Alex failed the examination. So what happens now? Well, as stated in the motion, the government cannot unilaterally determine that he breached his plea agreement, but there must now be a hearing to allow the court to decide based on the evidence. It also goes on to say that they must provide the court with a preponderance of evidence. So this is something that will have to be decided in court. Alex's attorneys have stated that they are working on a reply to this. We have another motion filed to seal the exhibits concerning the failed polygraph, on the basis that there are still ongoing investigations and matters that are not fully over that the information in the exhibits could affect. As we know, Corey is currently appealing his state sentence, and Russell is appealing his federal sentence, so these matters are presumably the point of this. We'll be looking forward to the reply by Alex's attorneys, as well as finding out what the court decides about the plea agreement and whether or not they're going to seal the exhibits or simply redact them. And I will be here as soon as this information becomes available. Till then, this is Cassidy O'Connell saying stay well and stay tuned.